tonight.
I'm pissed. Welcome, everybody, to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real in the tea in reality, and you can always come here first to quench your thirst. I'm Brook. I'm pissed. And that's it.
Hi, and hello. I'm Micha, your Persian correspondent, and now I'm having a new black cat doing time warp around me. So I'm not pissed at all. I'm actually pretty happy with this episode, and we'll see how it turns out.
And howdy, y'all. I'm Mike, your buff bodybuilding correspondent down in Dallas, Texas. And which way to the Blood Moon Fang Bang? I'm trying to find my way to the Blood Moon Fang Bang.
I would also like to know. So we are here today talking about episode 7 of Dragula Titan season 2. Before we get into all of that, though, make sure you go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button down below. Our merch link is down below as well. We can all buy all your fabulous merch, including but not limited to cup mug at laundrycreations.etsy.com. And of course, we're almost done with this season of Dragula, but that doesn't mean there isn't more coming in January, so be ready for that.
Spoiler alert.
I think it's already, 7's already been filmed, and I'm pretty sure it's January's when the rumor is it's getting released.
There's a spring season, y'all.
Yeah, and it should be much better than their spring half-year to Halloween special. Let's forget it, because this season it's...
Let's have a chat. So we are coming off of last week's extermination between Blackberri and Cynthia Doll. We'll talk about what happened there. And of course, the permadeath of one Miss Disastrina.
But
we're all very broken up about it.
Yeah.
But so coming into this episode, we get everybody coming in with the Boulet message, basically telling us, yeah, it's a musical. You loved it so much the first time. We have to do it again.
And the rug.
Show fans here, we've all watched season 6. Yes.
Yes.
The musical on season 6. Where are we at?
I adore it, just not for the right reasons. It's so camp. It's so trashy. I love it as a piece of trolling doll. You know, it's the Trisha Paytas of musicals. It's like this is mind-blowingly bad. It's so bad it's good. Literally, I love this episode. I watched it like maybe 40 times in my life. So,
I mean, knowing Alaska Thunderfuck co-wrote it, right? That's what makes it funny for me, because I know Alaska's humor, so it makes it funnier watching a creative output from her. I think I liked the musical in that regard. As far as like, is it quality? Like, just full disclosure, I told the panel, like, I went and saw like Outsiders. The Outsiders is like national tour. It was not that. It was not a Tony Award winning musical, The Outsiders, but I was entertained.
Well, I wouldn't compare it to multiple Tony Award winning Best Musical winner, The Outsiders, which, if you haven't listened to that soundtrack, it's all on Spotify.
So good.
Like, oh my God, like very few. And we talked about it before the recording. There are very few of these like IP adaptation musicals that I really feel like stick the landing and make themselves to be like an established musical that isn't just leeching off an IP. This is one of them. Go listen to the Outsiders soundtrack if you're even remotely a musical fan, or honestly, if you just like the Outsiders in general. The soundtrack is freaking incredible. It's also still playing on Broadway. It has done a very good job there. I think it's still selling out most nights. Like it's been out for 2 years, so it's doing very well. If you ever find yourself in New York and you can get cheap tickets, go see it. I highly recommend. Beside the point, or national tour comes through, like Mike went and saw, because the national tour is also very good.
They're very, very good.
Yes. But I'm not going to compare it to a Broadway show. I'm going to compare it to the most accurate comparison I can make it to, which is Shade the Bousical, because that was the first Drag Race musical, right? It also happened on season 6. So in theory, they should be around the same level of quality. Oh dear God, does Shade the Bousical clean the season 6 Bousical with a B, the Bousical. It cleans the Bousical's clock. Oh dear God. Like, I have to borrow
the magic trout necklace.
You have some
Drink from me. Yeah.
De La robbed of that win, honestly.
Well, they wanted to give it to the American Idol singer.
Australian Idol. Because Courtney won that challenge.
Oh, that's right.
As she should have. Come on.
As she should. Really, the only person who should not have won that challenge was Gia Gunn. So anyone else could have won, and I would have been fine with it.
Well, because, and you know why? Because she didn't get the bean joke, literally.
But beside the point, the season 6 Bousical was not very good, and I will say it wasn't good because they didn't really. I don't think they planned on it, and I also don't think they did any sort of like set design for it or anything to like help sell the illusion. And I think that really cost them, especially on a cast where a lot of these people were not very musically inclined. I will be kind.
Yeah. I mean, they had pretty opposite inclination. Yeah.
Season 6 was a lot of look monsters. They were not a lot of performance, I'll say, monsters. Not a lot of singers and dancers on season 6.
Like Jaharia.
Jaharia's the only performance one.
And that's why she's here, and that's why this episode was so cool.
Well, the thing is, Auntie's a good performer too, right? In theory, when you know your lines.
Yes.
But beside the point, we're not talking about season 6. If you want to hear us talk about that, go watch the coverage of Ice here. It's still all the demo.
We're closing this tangent on a tangent on a tangent. We're closing it, y'all.
Yes, we're closing it. Sorry, we got tickets to go see the Outsiders tour again. Beside the point. So when they said it was going to be a Bousical, was a little worried, but we get told it's going to be stylized around Rocky Horror because you cannot tell the story of Rocky Horror in about 10 minutes. It just doesn't work that way. And nor should you try. Don't do it.
Yes.
But we get this like really low. They did the anticipation. Joke twice
with the rug. and rug was the one who said it. The rug, the speaking rug, the icon of the season.
Yes.
When is Rug going to be on the guest panel?
It should be. During the podcast, they actually mentioned the guy who voiced the Rug, who was also its creator, so he could appear as the Wolverine.
I'm excited. But importantly, we do know it's going to be a Bousical, but first, we got to find out who went home. So our ghouls come in to the long ass boudoir. If you've been around here long enough, you get that reference. And neither one of these two do it. That's the lovely thing about it. Made a joke for Logan and Logan alone, and Logan's not even here. But there's a bit of a discussion as to, will it be Cynthia? Will it be Blackberri? Most of the room seems to think it's going to be Cynthia. Blackberri has a better track record, blah, blah, blah. Abhora again reminds us that track record doesn't matter, even though she has a good one, her words. And everybody's just kind of debating, and then suddenly we hear the cackles of Cynthia Doll. So Cynthia comes in the room, and she says she showed Blackberri the door. So yeah, Mike, you were right. Blackberri has been exterminated. Gag. Honestly, gag. Like, and not from from the editing perspective, sure, I see it, but like the actual fact that Blackberri is no longer in this competition, gag.
Yeah, I think I will say for Blackberri's Thanksgiving look, they were far too harsh on it, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But I will say the grave robber look kind of were below my expectations for Blackberri's looks because Blackberri has such a high standard. And so for this challenge, it makes sense why Blackberri was in the bottom. And I think it kind of, Blackberri going home kind of makes everybody reassess what the criteria is for people going home at this point. because a lot of people saw Blackberri as a potential like finalist, and it's kind of shocking to a lot of them now that Blackberry's no longer here. So now a lot of people are thinking it's anybody at any time. And I'll be honest, like usually when it comes down to the wire, I think outside of maybe one or two people, it could be anybody at any time. It's fierce competition this season. And I think, yeah, it could be anybody. It literally could be anybody, and you should always bring your A game. And I think that's how it should always be, because you don't want people to feel like they're just safe and they can coast some weeks.
Yeah. This is the New World Order. Just another challenge which didn't go down very well for Blackberri, but she was safe there. Yeah. Love that for Cynthia, because she said, I'm like on an upward trajectory. Well, when she was just in the bottom and still has no wins. But we kind of see, despite the fact that I'm slightly shading her right now, we kind of see where she's coming from, because unlike season 5, she's literally been doing like so good, exceeding her own expectations, could have won like at least one challenge easily, but then it was a very tight race. So yeah, I mean, and during this termination, which we talked about last week, Blackberri seemed kind of checked out, and Cynthia was like, yeah, bring me the snakes, bitch. I'm a slave for you. All the Britney references, sorry. Yeah.
No, and I will say, we talked about it last week. We've all had some disagreements as to whether Cynthia should have been on the bottom anytime she's been in the bottom. So I think she's doing a lot better than maybe the Boulets are letting on. I'll just put it that way.
I agree. I 100% agree with that sentiment. Yeah. Also, a quick note from like Cynthia. Cynthia put a little shade talking about the snakes. She might have mentioned one Dahlia Black. I was like,
they started with these like smaller snakes, and then they put this big snake on her, and then this really big snake, which is when the Brittany line came out, for those of you who are paying attention. And then she says, I was wondering if they were going to put Dahlia in that casket, which...
Leave Dahlia alone.
But I mean, I love
You're
how
lucky she even performs for you bastards. For context, by the way, in case you all don't know, the Leave Brittany Alone guy is from my hometown. So
no way.
I know him like her. She transitioned. I know her pretty well. Not like as like a close friend, but I've met her several times. Shout out to Christina. Hi. Besides the point,
I was yeah, thank you for telling me, because I only know their dead name. So Christina, yes. Nice.
I think it's Christina. I think that's what she changed it to. No, it was Christina for like a week, and then she changed it. I think it's Kara now.
Kara,
I think.
Same last name.
I'm not sure if she got married. I know she has transitioned. Her pronouns.
Kara Cox, right? Yeah.
Crocker was the old. Crocker was the old last name. I don't know if she's been married.
I'm wrong then. Don't listen to me. I'm himbo.
She's an icon. She's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
Yes.
Other point though, Boulets, come on. It's a Bousical. The girlies laugh. Jaharia's like, ha ha ha! I was the only good one last time. And we get a lovely little bit of interplay happening at the table between JK and Sigourney, just like we had last week. But then it kind of spices up a little bit. Evah's throwing some shade at JK, which I didn't really get, to be honest, but sure. Jay's just standing there being unbothered, and it's lovely, and I'm thrilled to see it. We get this moment of like Sigourney kind of comes for Jay. Jay comes back, and then Sigourney's like, "Well, you're going home next." And then Jaharia and Jay both go, you say that a lot. You say you're going home next to people a lot. Is it because you don't really have anything else to say besides that? Sig kind of got too caught in this episode.
Yeah, I think they make up a good point that this is this is an edited product. This is what we're being shown by production here. But Sigourney is saying a lot like, I wouldn't do that, or, well, it's your funeral. And this time, like, whenever Jaharia and JK bring it up, we get a confessional from Abhora. And I think this is when I started feeling like, Sigourney's going down a bad path, because Abhora has kind of been the voice of reason, the grounded voice this season. Whenever Abhora says it, it's the Boulets basically saying this is what the direction of the season is going to go, because Abhora has been outside of the drama amazingly, and just kind of grounded and focusing on the drag. So when Abhora is saying like, yeah, Sig is saying this a lot, that's when you're kind of like, oh, Sig is really saying this a lot. So.
And also, Jaharia is saying in the confessionals that if you ask me that Sigourney is basically complaining and like playing the victim the entire season, I would say yes, of course she is. And it was like so intense. But also, Jaharia was very interesting in that interplay shady scene, because she tried to come for Evah and like tried to kind of become sneaky about her, put some doubts. Yeah.
I know a lot of people are saying they would like to see Jaharia on like a traditional like gaming show. I'm going to be honest, after seeing all this kind of messy play, I don't know if I want to see it. I would feel like she would get clocked so fast and be like, oh, you're just floating around. And then that'd be that. So
Jaharia would be like a third boot on the Traitors. Like, it would be literally Jaharia sticks around the first episode, maybe even gets somebody sent home, and then people are going to start, maybe even a second boot. Like, people start connecting the dots and realize that Jaharia was the reason all the mess happened, and then Jaharia's out. The little bit of shade that Cynthia throws later in the episode and just goes like, look, Jaharia's running around here telling everybody all of this crap. She's the one that's causing all of this. She's like, I'm not going to say that to anyone, but we all know it's true. No, Cynthia, they don't know that. You're the only one that's read the room.
She has the keys. She has the keys to the lock, and she's not giving it to anybody. Like, I thought that was hilarious. She's like, everybody knows this. I'm like, actually, it's just you, Cynthia.
Of course she does, because there's always a door to be opened with a key.
So. There's the door.
We love Cynthia here. Beside the point, though, we do get told that the roles for the Bousical are being assigned by Swan specifically. Drac, not a theater gay, as we find out later in the episode. But Swan and another person who I don't think they specifically named in the episode.
Yes, KC. Yeah, KC. Yeah, that's the only initials we know. Yeah.
You don't know who that is. But they did the choreo, music is written, but it's a two-part challenge. So the first part is that each of the ghouls have to show up in a Rocky Horror inspired look for the full show, and then they are going to perform in what I'm going to be referring to as the Blood Moon Fang Gang Bousical, because they say it about 90 times. It was great, don't worry. And we find out that most of our ghouls are singers. Abhora, not so much, her words. JK cannot sing, his words. But most of our ghouls have at least passable singing voices from what we are able to tell, other than JK. And we find out later, Abhora actually not a bad singer. Yeah. But JK, not a good singer. And they are worried.
Especially since in the video prompt, Swanthala quite shadily says, for hell's sakes, stay in key. And then Dracmorda just like stares daggers at Swanthala. Because I can guarantee you Swantha has like said that to Drac at some point in their recording artist history together. So
see, it's really interesting to me that the Boulets basically do everything adjacent to theater, but apparently Drac is like completely anti-theater gay. Like that dichotomy is hilarious to me.
I mean, I think that's hilarious, but I kind of see them more as like film. They come off as like film students to me.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
But I mean,
that's always been their aesthetic for me.
They should be contrasting in some points. That's how they've been as a couple for so long. So yeah, one of them is a theater gay, another one is an anti-theater gay. And coincidentally, that's why Hoso was so attracted to another unspecified character, Astrid, because Hoso told us in the confessionals that she hated theater gays and everything theater gay related, though it was specifically directed to Evah, who is coincidentally here as well on Titans 2. So I love this parallel. And she can sing.
So, beside the point though, other than just a little bit of looks into what some people are wearing for the floor show and the drama that we have already discussed, wasn't really much before our music. So,
attention competitors. Attention competitors. The floor show is about to begin.
All right, y'all. So as a reminder, these are Rocky Horror inspired looks for our floor show. But first up, it's time to get back two of our OG guest judges from Dragula. First up on our right, we're going to have Peaches Christ. Yay!
Yes.
What a panel of judges.
It's feeling correct.
Peaches has been on, I believe, every season of Dragula as a guest judge. I believe she's the only one.
No, Darren has been the one from this panel. Darren has been in every season of Dragula, but Peaches wasn't. Peaches hasn't been on every now.
She's missed one or two at most, because I know she was on the first season.
Yeah. And on the second.
Well, Darren is an executive producer, so...
Darren was on every season, by contrast. Yeah, Darren was on every season. And they actually specifically referred to him as the only guest judge who has been in every season.
Yeah. But regardless, we also have Darren Stein, who is not only a director-writer, he's also a producer on the show. So naturally, he's been around here several times. But importantly, all of our ghouls here today, it's a fun time watching the Boulets come out in a look that's a little simple compared to their normal fare.
I would say it's a good back to the early season looks. Yeah. Season 1 and 2.
I don't like the wig. And it's not that it looks bad with the outfit. I just don't like the wig.
I can't make heads or tails of the wig for me. It is a little flat for my liking. I feel like things that are... I try to give space for like flatter wigs, but I feel like in general drag, it's got to have more volume.
See, to me, it's the exact opposite of flat. It's lumpy. It's a lumpy wig.
Well, like there's no height to it.
Just look at Peach's wig next to this, and I'm like, yeah,
that wig is great. That is a great wig.
Lovely. But yeah, so guest judges, bullets, and now it's time to start talking about our floor show.
And we get another one, anticipation. This time between Darren and Peaches, we have another anticipation.
Say it.
I do like that everybody got the prompt and is wearing red lipstick. I do enjoy that. Thank you for wearing red lipstick and doing the homework.
All right. First up, JK with a broken heel. JK doing their best Rocky. Yeah, this is great. This is lovely. Fits the brief really well. JK is like wrapped up in that, I'm going to say ribbon because I don't really know what else it is. They unwrap JK, and as Jay's spinning out, their right heel breaks. But then they kind of incorporate it into the floor show. I didn't realize it was a mistake until Swan pointed it out, which Drac then called Swan out for pointing it out. But
I didn't know either. I'm learning in real time here.
Yeah. But honestly, yeah, it was really great. Jay sold the fuck out of it, and I think this look is just incredible. T.
I mean, yeah, same here. Before Drac mentioned it, I didn't even know it was unplanned. I know in the Boulets book, usually the props malfunction docks some points off the runway presentation, the floor show, but in this scenario, it wasn't a prop. And Jay seamlessly incorporated it into the selling out of the whole look. So it was so good. Yeah, very hot tea.
I love that. I'm glad that somebody did Rocky Horror for their floor show presentation. JK, it makes so much sense picking this character out of all the characters in Rocky Horror. I love the presentation. It's such a dragged up version as well. There's all this bulging muscles, but there's a lot of feminine touch to it. I love that if you look close, the areolas on the nipples are like little red rhinestones in the shape of nipples. That is hilarious. Top to bottom, this is piping hot tea for me. This is one of my favorites on the runway. I think, for the most part, our presentations were really, really good this week. I say runway, floor show presentations are very, very good. So yeah, I can't even believe that limping thing wasn't part of the act, because I kind of got this sort of like, Rocky Horror is a scientific experiment, and so it's kind of like this. Something went wrong along the way, and Rocky Horror is a little mangled this time around. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of a horror aspect on Rocky Horror. So I really love this. I for JK.
Yeah, I really like it, and I'm glad we're on the same page. Now it's time for an argument on this panel. I have this feeling. So Evah Destruction looks great. No qualms about the quality of this clown look from Killer Clowns in Outer Space. Didn't realize that they had a cameo in Rocky Horror. This is absolutely the worst floor show of the week, because yet again, Evah did not do the assignment. This is the second time this season that we've said this about Evah coming out on the floor show and not doing the assignment. She looks good. Don't get me wrong. Like, if this was a clown challenge, she nailed it. But it's not a clown challenge. It's a Rocky Horror inspired look. When is there a clown in Rocky Horror? I'll answer that question for you. There's not. So because she didn't do the assignment, bag. I'm sorry.
Surprise, surprise. I disagree with Brook. I think this is a great look, obviously, and I would prefer, at all times, I said it many times during our different podcasts, I would always prefer a person who went too far from the assignment than somebody who stayed completely safe within the zone, like some of the looks will have. So for me, it's very far from the worst look on the runway. Now, yeah, obviously, Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Rocky Horror has one thing in common: outer space, because they both have come from some remote planets. So if this was like Evah's track of mind, then why not? And also in Rocky Horror, when the statues get relive again, and when Frankenfurter prepares the dance, they basically do have some kind of sleeves / neck piece, which is kind of akin to clownish neck piece. It is given as much Marie Antoinette as it is clown, because it's very drag in the movie already. So I can kind of see where Evah's coming from here. And yeah, she sold the living hell out of this presentation, so it's still tea for me. Although it's not literally on the assignment. Yeah, she went kind of too far away.
Yeah. My main issue with this floor show is, if you were to ask me what was the theme of the floor show, I could not get to Rocky Horror inspired look. The only thing that I can point to on this look that is Rocky Horror inspired is there's a corset and there's a thong. That's Frankenfurter, sure. Like, and I get that reference, but everything else, like the fur coat, the frill, the clown aesthetic, that's not really Rocky Horror for me. I don't really get Rocky Horror from any of that. And it's fine if there's a little bit of a departure from the source material. It's inspired. Like, you should put your own like take on it. But I think what Evah put into these original looks from Rocky Horror, I think, was such a vast departure from Rocky Horror's aesthetic that it's for me, it just kind of it does not fit the theme. I'm also not that crazy about the look in general. And for that, I'm going to give it a bag. Yeah, that's just my take on it.
Yeah, we'll be discussing Evah at length very shortly, so don't worry. This debate is not over. Continuing on, Sigourney, safe. She looks good. I know what she's going for. I'm not mad at it. I didn't remember that season 4 look in the finale until they pointed it out in the critiques. And then when they said it, I was like, oh God, that is exactly what I thought of. Yeah, I just forgot. Well, I mean, it's been a couple years, but I just completely forgot that look happened. Well, I mean, also, when I think about Sigourney's finale look, that's just not the first look that pops in my head. And the second they put it on, I'm like, oh my God, that's why I feel like I've seen her in this before. Because I have. Just in a different color. She looks great, but like it doesn't show any elevation from Sigourney's previous work. That's my issue. Love you, Sig. Love you down. I'm going to give you tea with the note that this is a reheated tea that I've already had before, and I would prefer not to have another reheat this season, but that's just me.
This is my least favorite look of the week, hands down. I'm gonna bag it, and not only because she repeated herself like from season 4 finale, but also because she wore the same aesthetic numerous times across all of her two of her seasons, and thirdly because she didn't reimagine the character she was already playing here in this very Bousical. She basically said, "Yeah, I am her, she is me," and yeah, we're already almost namesakes. So. This is what I'm talking about when I said that I would prefer when somebody went too far in their reimagination, as Evah did, than somebody who's like so literal. Yeah, bag. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what the both of you are saying about Sigourney. I do like the first look. I like the scientist look. I do think it's a little baggy for my taste. It wasn't as like tight fitting, and that's because as soon as I saw it, I did think of Sigourney's like finale floor room package. I thought of the scientist. I think it was like her face was like melting and everything. I think that's what the floor show was that she brought. And that was like a much better presentation than this. I think this was just sort of a reveal outfit. And she revealed to like a corset and a panty, which is totally fine. That's the aesthetic of Rocky Horror. It's very minimal clothing. I just wish that there was something else done with it. I also think that the fit on the corset wasn't necessarily the best. It was a little awkward for me, especially in the boob area. Again, if you watch Rocky Horror, that's also something that you see on Rocky Horror quite a lot. Like a lot of women's corsets were falling very low in the movie. Again, it's a very sexually free movie, so it's not much of an issue. But I just wish that there was more of a creative take on the whole aesthetic. And I don't think Sigourney brought that here. I'm going to have to give it a slight bag. She looks great. She always looks great. But I've just seen her do better and elevate better, especially when like it sucks that she just picked the same sort of aesthetic of scientist outfit that she brought in her finale package in season 4, because I just thought of that one and I'm like, well, that was a better presentation than what I saw here, and that's unfortunate. So it's a slight bag for me.
Yeah. Moving on to Jaharia. I didn't care for this that much. Maybe this is just me, right? And this is a critique I throw at Drag Race people a lot. I don't think I've ever thrown this at anybody on Dracula. If you're gonna reveal to a corset, I better be gagged. And I'm just not. When it comes to Sigourney, I felt like with her corset, I didn't gag that hard either, but I had other critiques to talk about with her. This is just, it's good, but it's like fine. I like the garter. I think that looks nice, but like it's a corset and a panty underneath a much more visually interesting top. And like if you're doing a reveal, it better either be the skimpiest thing I've ever seen, or it better be sickening, and this is neither. So, like, and also the corset not being fully laced is bugging me. And also, this is one of my biggest pet peeves with necklaces in general. If you are wearing a necklace and there is a piece of the necklace that is either bigger or smaller than every other part of the damn necklace, it better be centered in some capacity. Like, this is OCD Brook popping up real quick, but the fact that she has that one big pearl off to the side bothers the hell out of me from like a compulsion thing. I want to reach onto the screen and move her necklace. Like, it bothers me that much. So I'm not going to knock her for that, because that might have just been the way she chose to wear it, and that's a me problem, not a her problem. I'm going to give it a bag, but like barely. It's like a little plastic bag. Like, it's almost there, but not quite there for me.
Yeah, surprise. I also disagree with Brook on this. This is heads and shoulders and knees and toes above Sig's look for me this week, namely because the pre-reveal. I agree with the post-reveal being kind of simple, and I was slightly gooped that Swan said this is her favorite look of the week, but the pre-reveal was very good, and I love the execution, how seamlessly the reveal itself was executed. I know it's like a century-old cabaret trick, but it went so well, especially with this slick hair. Jaharia did what needed to be done, because it was absolutely Rocky Horror. She was absolutely the character, but it's also very her. It's not like the literal look, especially pre-reveal. Post-reveal, I mean, this corset and panty totally fit into the film's universe on multiple characters. But that's the ambiguity I'm living for here, because she didn't go like for one specific person. She didn't go for Magenta or for Frankenfurter or for somebody else. So for that matter, and I kind of love it. I especially love the mug and that wig. That smallish wig on her looks so well. The Gomez Adams of it all. It's been Jaharia's pet peeve the entire season, and I'm not mad at this. Before Titans, I would never thought that Jaharia is going to be like so much into Gomez. But that's how she married the Addams family with the Rocky Horror Universe. And it's still pretty hotty for me. And she sold it so well.
I like this look on Jaharia. I think she looks really good. I do think it is a little on the nose. I like the first look that she had, that dress. I agree with the Boulets when they gave the comment of that looks like a more modern, like if there was a sequel to Rocky Horror, that's what Frankenfurter would wear in the sequel, and then would reveal to the classic outfit. I know Jaharia is going for Frankenfurter mostly in this aesthetic, and so like I like the pearls. I agree with you, Brooke, though. It was very distracting, the one big pearl on one side. I wish she would have just kind of styled it to the back so that it was just, because in the movie it's just one string of pearls. So I get she's dragging it up, but it is distracting for me visually. I kind of disagree on your comment, Brooke, though, on the corset. I actually really liked it. I thought it's classic. It's exactly Frankenfurter. It's Tim Curry in Rocky Horror. I just wish that there was more. If you're going to go for it, just go all the way. I feel like it's just not elevating it too much. But what Jaharia did do was good here, and I did enjoy it. So it's going to be a lukewarm tea for me.
Fair enough. Maybe I did lift the pearl kit in my personal judgment as to my score. It just bothers me. Like, I'm sorry. You said style it to the back. You could style it to the front too. It didn't just where it's placed is the worst possible place for my OCD, because it's just close enough to the front that it looks like it slid, but it's not far enough to the back where it looks like it's trying to be hidden. Like it bugs me. It's OCD. I cannot blame her. This is not a problem for most other people, I would wager, but for me, it is so damn distracting. Okay, I'm going to change my score to a tepid T. I cannot let the one fucking string of pearls bother me that much. Moving on to Abhora. She looks fine. Rather simple for Abhora. So I'm not going to like nitpick it, but I am going to say no bird nose. Kind of gagged.
Yeah.
I believe this is the first time I've seen Abhora without the bird nose, maybe ever on Dragula. So I'm kind of gagged by it. I did not recognize Abhora's actual nose, and she contoured it too. Like, I'm kind of impressed. Not even kind of. I'm actually very impressed with Abhora this week in terms of that. The actual look itself is rather pedestrian, and like not by Dragula standards, of course. She looks good, so like T, but like it's just fine.
Yeah, it's my second least favorite look of the week. That said, it's still head and shoulders above Sigs. I'm going to give this a pretty tepid T, just because Abhora, especially for her, she didn't go that far away from the inspiration sources. It's like, yeah, it's very safe Rocky Horror inspired look, but for Abhora, it's cool for two reasons. First of all, yeah, no one knows, as Brook mentioned. Secondly, like Abhora in hot pink. That's pretty exciting. But yeah, overall it was kind of safe, and especially given that some people were like eating the presentation up, like, and doing explosive stuff on the floor show. It was all right, but I love the panty though. The panty is freaking camp. So yeah, it's still tepid T for me.
I think I'm actually the most excited about this look. I really enjoyed this look from Abhora. I thought it was a creative reimagining of the Frankenfurter look. I really enjoyed the styling on this. I do agree with you, Micha. The panties really good. I think this is kind of, if Abhora was going to do a Frankenfurter look, this is exactly what we would get, and I enjoyed that Abhora gave us that. I'm going to give this a solid T. I really enjoyed it.
Cynthia Doll. Well, I think this is really good. I think it's really fun. I think it's really stupid, but like, again, who am I to judge a drag queen's brand? And like, Cynthia's brand is fun, kooky, stupid, and you know what? She hit the nail on the head, and also just good. Using plasma balls for this is so... It is the dumbest thing I have ever heard on paper, right? In the idea that, like, plasma balls are very visually, like, you know what they look like, you know what they are, and it's kind of hard to disguise them. But the way she did it makes it look really damn good. So great idea that she executed really well, I think. Including the little triangle was a nice touch. I think it adds a little bit to the idea here. They pointed out her crotch specifically, and like, and it was like five other people had, not five other people, that would be everybody, but a few other people had like a small panty on, and Cynthia's just like, what if I wear this like flesh-colored thing to make it look like my testicles are super inflamed? Ooh. This is T. This is great. I love you for this, Cynthia.
This is my favorite look of the week. And, well, JK said it best, saying there were 40 million Frankenfurters in the world, and Cynthia somehow made it hers and original. And that's why I appreciate it so much, because it definitely both fits the brief and both departs from literal inspiration far enough for being like super creative. This is unique and different for Cynthia. This is a look she would never pull out on season 5. never. Love the red triangle. Love how the color scheme harkens back to the movie. All the plasma balls are just so good. And also, it was interesting to see this micro storyline of her in the Cauldron preparing, saying, this time I'm making sure all my props function. All my props must be like on point. And guess what she did? That was so nice to hear. Just nice to feel and see. And why is your crotch area a giant udder? Well, you never know. Yeah, sometimes elephantosis becomes elephantitis. Sometimes, you grow another. Why not? Yeah, I mean, I love this question from Darren because it wasn't even shady, because he clearly enjoyed the idea, and so did I. So it's actually Chaite Grande for me. It's my favorite Cynthia look, probably after second favorite this season, and the favorite look on this runway, definitely.
I refuse to believe that Darren Stein doesn't know that some men, mostly gay, get silicone injections into their nether regions. So I'm like, asking that, I was like, do you not know that? That's like a thing. That's a thing. I actually know people who have done that, and y'all do you, like, it's great. It's wonderful. But like, I just can't believe it. Never heard of that. Anyways, this look on Cynthia, I really did enjoy it. It is on the line of too far from Rocky Horror, but just close enough that I am getting different characters from the presentation. I think the bulge in the crotch is giving me Rocky Horror himself. I feel a lot of Dr. Frankenfurter in the scientist outfit, in the the balls and the other outfit. The hair is giving me kind of magenta from Rocky Horror. It's like a blend of a bunch of different characters in one, and that's so creative and done in a way that this is so clearly Cynthia's style, but it is so elevated. I really enjoyed this. It is just close enough that I'm like, this is a Rocky Horror inspired look for me. So this is, I agree with you, Micha. This is my favorite look on the runway this week. I'm going to give this a piping hot tea. I think it's a little abstract. Maybe it's teasing a little too abstract, but it is still just there enough for me to say, this is amazing. This is great. I loved what Cynthia brought. I agree with you, Micha. Cynthia really has been like elevating her craft and attention to detail, and it really shows in what she is bringing. She is swinging for the fences, and last week she had maybe a minor stumble, but like, when she knocks it out of the park, she knocks it out of the park. So I love this.
I wonder how Patricia Quinn feels about this wig.
Yes.
Is she going to tweet about it?
I hope so. About the Bousical, the wig, the entire episode. Yeah.
Will Cynthia have to apologize? That's the real question. Beside the point.
No, I don't.
The Boulets are going to tell Cynthia, I want you to tweet out an apology to Patricia Quinn.
I mean, guys, a single quiff.
I did a performance review in the Snatch game. I would like to apologize.
I thought about that as well. But actually, I think a single quiff in this week has done a better job portraying Patricia Quinn than the entire Aiden's trial on Snatch.
Not too much on Aiden Zane. Okay, come on.
I love Aiden, but this was
Aiden. Okay, the funny thing about it is Aiden wasn't even the worst person in that Snatch game. So like,
well, Britta
was worse. Yeah, that's it, absolutely. Yep. Beside the point, though, it's time to talk about our Bousical.
The main event.
For the record, I would like to get something very clear off the rip. There were no good photos of the entire group outside of the one really long full group shot of them holding hands at the end. That would not have looked well on screen. I'll just be honest for us. It would not have translated very well in our slideshow format. So I'm just going to say, first off, every single person here did at least a good job. No one was actively terrible in this Bousical, which is at least a 600% improvement from the first one. So I'm I'm quite
a
happy
666.
666% improvement from the first one, and the only reason it's not 800 is because Jaharia is still here. But yeah, so yeah, I will say that there were definitely a couple people who I think were better than everyone else in this performance. I'll just say, who was everyone's top 3 in this challenge?
I'll start. Okay, easily. Jaharia, Evah, and Jay. Not in that order, but yeah.
I will completely agree.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I think, yeah, we'll get into the specifics, but that was my top 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think all 3 of them just elevated the material in a really good way. Evah specifically had some really good, like, it's something that I noticed that whenever people are in a Bousical that they do this and it stands out. It's the facial expressions when the camera's not supposed to be on them, right? That sells a performance so much more. And I will say, Jay did it too, but the camera was on Jay so much that it was kind of hard to, like, pick those moments out because Jay was ostensibly the main character in this production.
Yeah.
Now, the main critique I've been seeing online for Jay was that Jay did not really sing, but the role wasn't really written that way. And, like, even if it was, it worked and it sold the performance really well for me. So, like, I don't have a problem with it personally.
I don't have a problem. I see where these people are coming from Sig, because she said literally in the confessional, she didn't even try. We at least tried. She didn't even try. But
salty.
As a singer, I can see the side, because when you're given this line, she could literally at least try to sing. And if she probably didn't, well, it worked for her. She felt like I'll concentrate on the competition. But I think that coupled with what you, Brook, just said, with all these expressions when they weren't like the part of the singing performance, when it wasn't their solo number, I think that's what ultimately pushed Evah for number 1 for me. And yeah. Because, yeah, first of all, she sang it all, and secondly, we had so many expressions when she was not exactly doing her vocal stuff as a lead singer. It wasn't her song. But, yeah, they both were, like, so great, so neck and neck in this musical.
I agree. I think I will say the criticism on JK I don't think is necessarily fair, mainly because there's a lot of, I don't know if people listen to spoken word albums, but there's a lot of spoken word artists who are very, very good. And I would say they are musical artists because there is a craft and an art to doing that. There's people who rap and they don't sing. And yeah, I think that JK kind of did a speak singing kind of chimera hybrid in this Bousical. And I think it worked. It totally worked. It totally worked for the character. As far as Evah goes, I think what Evah did that was so impressive for me is Evah created a character and a character arc, and Evah's character responded to what was going on. I think a lot of times we see in musicals and Bousical and Bousicals, they just kind of go through the lines. They recite their lines. They maybe put some emotion when they're reciting their lines, but they don't think of like, what would my character respond to this other character saying this? That's a lot of things you need to do when you're acting is you need to react to what's going on around you. That's how you make a 3-dimensional character that's responding. There's something that whenever Jay's character is like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. There's like a thinking and then like an acceptance and then a tone shift, a change in the character of Evah being like, I don't want to be, and makes a joke like, I don't want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with me. And I liked that. There was a thought that Evah put into that. And that was really impressive. I was really impressed with Evah. I also put Jaharia in my top 3. Jaharia, great singer, great dancer, great performer. I'm not surprised that I loved what Jaharia brought in this Bousical.
Yeah, the JK critique I don't agree with at all. There are plenty of bigger characters in shows, in musicals, that don't sing. The main guy in chorus line, Zach, doesn't sing like at all during the entire show, but he's one of, if not the main character in an ensemble cast show. You don't have to sing to be a character in a musical. It's just you have to, the show has to be moving towards the plot forward with music. That's the only criteria. And Jay's everything else was incredible and immaculate and perfect, so I have no problem. Evah was really great. We talked about it. Eva's singing was really great. Eva's performing was really great. Jaharia is actually, I mean, it was on par at minimum with what she did in season 6. And I think it just elevated because the material is so much better that they're working with this time. Where the first Bousical, it was really them just taking songs that already existed for Drag the Musical and turning them into a Dragula challenge. Here, it feels like this was written for the show. This was written for Dragula in a performance that can like elevate the material and doesn't just feel random and out of place. And I think Jaharia is probably the best example of that, where she did good with the other material, but I think she really was allowed to thrive with this character and the direction from Swan. Which also Swan did a very good job with all of this. Swan and Casey, whoever that is, did a very good job with all of this. I'm very happy to see it. I would like to talk about the negatives real quick. Abhora did okay in this challenge. There were times when Abhora did not know her lines. There were times where Abhora dropped choreo, and I will also say they didn't call it out in the episode, but there's a section near the end of the performance where Jaharia also screwed up the choreo. But it was very minimal. She put her arms down, everybody went up, and then switched it. Like it was like a high school recital mistake. And then I feel bad for Cynthia because her part was written so minimally that she didn't get a chance to really do anything with it. Whereas they wrote, it's similar to the actual Rocky Horror, where like Brad is such a like nothing burger for most of the show.
There.
He's there.
Brad's there.
Well, there is one scene when he's good.
Yeah, and then everyone else around him is going nuts, and Brad's just like here. And in the same way, they make Cynthia play Brad, and like Cynthia does a really good job. And these outfits, like class, basically Brad's not actually Brad, but like this like Brad inspired character, she does good with it. They just don't give her much to work with. And I'll say this about Sigourney: she did a good job with what they gave her, but I feel like if they would have swapped Cynthia and Sigourney, I think Cynthia would have succeeded more at Sigourney's part than Sigourney would have succeeded at Cynthia's part.
Yeah, I actually think Cynthia would give like a top performance by the time. She already did so much with this role, and it was very funny to see Drac saying that basically it was her if she wasn't still in the closet. It was like so much fun during the critiques. But yeah, I agree with you. Brad in the movie, his only good scene when Frankenfurter seduces him in the tent. Basically, it's not even about him. Yeah, it's not even about him. So it's the best scene by far. So Cynthia did what needed to be done with this role. Abhora, I actually, there was one huge plus, and that was finding her voice, because, yeah, she told us before that she was not a big singer, but the fact that she found this like goblin squeaky voice for her, it worked so well, especially in her like a few solo lines. Like it was great.
Yeah, do you have anything?
No, because it was just a very interesting contrast to see Jaharia has solo moments, because it was also not a whole song, but at least like 8 to 10 lines she had on her solo. It's like, wow. Unlike season 6, you could hear her voice like it's so good, and yeah, Darren was correct. It's like butter. It's like Nutella on your soul. It's like, it was phenomenal. Her singing, I could like also isolate the track and listen to it all day. But Abhora really provided a great contrast to both Evah and Jaharia with her like gobbling pterodactyl kind of flying voice, and it worked damn well for her character. So that's why it was like the positive side of Abhora for me, because we all knew that she wasn't like a choreo girl, but she at least tried not to flop.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I mean, we said it at the top. Everybody did great. Everybody did really, really good. It's that typical like all-stars standard of like, everybody did good. Who did the least good? And that's what we're discussing here. I do think that there were issues. I did see Abhora's choreography issues. There were some timing issues on some turns and choreo. And it's not that she was like completely off. It's just on the ensemble, everybody was on the beat and Abhora was a little bit behind. Also, Abhora kind of faded a couple of parts at a couple of times for me. And I hate that critique, but it really did apply to Abhora. Abhora really shone for me whenever they were interacting with Cynthia's character and doing all the spanking and everything. But I'm going to be honest, Cynthia kind of overshined that whole interaction. And that was Cynthia's moment to, yeah, exactly. That was Cynthia's time to shine. I think Cynthia's character would have done better if there was like a visual change, because that's what happens to Brad in the movie. Like both Janet and Brad, they progressively become less clothed as the movie progresses. And that's kind of them freeing and opening up their sexual liberties and all that stuff. And they didn't do that with Brad's character. They did it with Sigourney's character, but not Brad's character. And I think Sigourney did good with what was there. I think she could have gone so much more with it. I think it was good, solid. She hit the marks, but like, just go so over the top. Like I agree with you. What Cynthia did with the Brad character, I think Cynthia could have just brought so much out of the Janet character. And I would love to see Cynthia kind of do a more straight conservative kind of like, oh, gosh, jolly, Janet. That would be fun to see that sort of, get Sigourney to try a much different character. But yeah, I almost would say, like, for me, Cynthia was just completely safe, like middle of the pack for me. And then for me, my bottom two would be Abhora and Sigourney. Not Sigourney for the performance, but for the floor show, personally. So that's where I had everybody ranked.
I totally agree with you on this with the bottom two, actually. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about placements real quick. So we get a bit of, conversation with the Boulets, talking about everybody's performance. Before we even get to critiques, they talk about almost everybody. And we get to hear them say, Evah didn't really do the assignment. And they're throwing a lot of praise towards JK. And they're throwing praise towards basically everybody except for Cynthia. In some regard, they said they like Cynthia's outfit, but in terms of the actual performance, they didn't really throw much praise towards Cynthia. And I will say, in the moment, I was getting heated. I was getting very pressed because I thought they were going to screw Cynthia here when Cynthia should not have been in the bottom again. However, we did get a bit of a shock. So we find out, ostensibly based on critiques, that our top two of the week are Evah Destruction and JK. Sure.
I agree. If there's going to be two tops, I don't agree.
I do. Because...
Hold on.
Surprise.
We haven't got to use this banner all season, but it's been waiting to show up. So let's have a chat, Boulets, okay? In this episode, right, where you say, okay, the one half of this challenge is the Bousical, right? The other half of the challenge is a Rocky Horror-inspired floor show, okay? Those are the two criteria for this challenge. Based on the Bousical and the Bousical alone, Evah winning this challenge, I don't disagree with you. Not at all. I think Evah was incredible in the Bousical. And I think at minimum, at the absolute worst, you could have her second in this Bousical. I think her and JK were clearly the best two in the Bousical. Floor show rise, Evah did not do the damn assignment at all. And we could talk about how good her look was and how she took a risk and it was like a good outfit, and it was, right? But if I were to show you the other 5 looks on that floor show, even something like Sigourney's, which we didn't really care for because it's repetitive and she's done it before, right? You could, from those 5 looks, you could probably figure out that the category is Rocky Horror adjacent at minimum. You cannot do that with Evah's look. And as good as it is, and as well as it is executed, if the criteria is a floor show and a performance, and we are only having one winner, the winner needs to be the person who did both assignments the best, and she did not do one of the damn assignments. This is the first time on this season of Dragula that I have actively felt that there is legitimate production favoritism going towards someone. There have been times where I have disagreed with placements, and that'll happen, right? I think Evah should have been in the bottom in the holiday challenge because, again, she didn't do the damn assignment. But that's just me. But when we're looking here, and we're looking at this entire challenge, you cannot tell me Evah Destruction won this challenge when JK was top 2 on the floor show and top 2 in the Bousical. You can't tell me that. And you know what? Am I a deranged JK stan? Absolutely. I'm not going to hide that. I am biased as fuck. Obviously. Clearly. Biased as hell. But I'll also say this. Evah should not have been in the bottom. I don't think that at all. I think Evah, respectively, if I was going to give Evah a placement, I would have made her high this week because I think she was that good in the Bousical. But she should not have won this challenge, especially considering with what comes next. That is all. Brook rant over.
Well, I'm happy that you came out, like, because I saw, like, comments often are, like, going, JK bias, JK bias, JK. He admits it. He admits it. Brook has a JK bias.
Of course I have a JK bias. Look, here's my thing.
It's his favorite. Let him have his favorite.
Let's just be really clear, okay? Micha has an Evah bias. I have a JK bias, okay? Mike doesn't have a bias anymore because Mike's team is gone. So
I'm just here for the ride.
Mike is here for the ride. Okay. Look, we all have people that we prefer. We all have performers that we connect with a little bit more than others. Okay. That's just the way it is. And that's going to happen on any show like this. It's art, and art is subjective, which means you are going to subjectively connect to one person's art more than other people. And that's fine. And that's normal. And that's chill. Right. And the Boulets even say it's not their place to critique your art, right? They say it every season in the first episode. Drag is art. Art is subjective. We are not critiquing your art. We are critiquing your interpretation of the challenge, right? Based on that criteria, Evah should not have won this challenge. And that's where I'm at.
Okay, as the mediator, as the here for the ride correspondent, Micha, would you like to retort?
Yes, I would, because at no point in this challenge did I get that runway, the floor show would account for like 50% of the judging. That was never said by the Boulets this episode. I mean, I get where you're coming from, Brook, because historically, in Dragula, the floor show was kind of the almost main event, but the performance challenges were exception even in the earlier seasons. And now when we have more and more performance challenges, especially this season of Titans, where we have the most performance challenges per season in the entire Dragula history, I think that it's kind of fair to put more value towards the main event, which was the Bousical in this scenario. And if this was the case, then probably, again, yes, picking off from what they said, that Evah like crushed the competition. It's, by the way, the first time they used this verbiage during the announcing of Maxi Challenge winner, as opposed to the winner of the Hellbound Showdown, when they literally said that Evah crushed the competition while saying she's the winner of this challenge. So I believe that it was like mostly based on the Bousical. Now, would I be mad if it was like a double win like last week when I had one winner for the runway, one winner for the Bousical? Not at all. I think it would have been fine. But Drag said himself that he hated double wins on the pod, so it was kind of an exception last week, and they clearly were not doing this. 2 double wins in a season, no. 2 double eliminations in a season, yes, sure. That's Drag's exact words in last week's pod. So yeah. Or alternatively, they could have done, if they had time and like production wise for 2 episodes, they could have done like season 5 scenario where we have separate floor show winner as an episode and separate like Monsters of Rock, and in this case like Bousical. But we already had Monsters of Rock anyway, so I don't think that production wise they would allow for a separate episode just on Rocky Horror Runway, inspired runway. So in that regard, and knowing that probably it wasn't 50-50 criteria, as Brook thinks, I'm very fine with Evah's win, especially with what comes next.
Hold on. This is not based on what Brook thinks. This is based off of what Jay said in the episode. Or I think it was Jay, it might have been Cynthia, but somebody said this is a 2-part challenge where the first part is a floor show and the second part is the Bousical. When we then look at what happened literally a week ago with the same setup of a floor show and a performance where both of them were equally weighed, they just had 2 winners. This is not just me having sour grapes in any way. This is literally past precedent with this show from a week ago. This isn't even a couple seasons back. This is literally 7 days ago. We were just seeing something different. I'm not saying they needed to have 2 winners. I don't think they needed to do that at all. But traditionally, when you have 2 parts of a challenge and they both are brought up as important, and even if it's 70-30, right? And you say it was the floor show was not as important, right? JK still would have won, in my opinion. Because JK, let's say Evah got a perfect 70 out of 70 in the Bousical, right? JK got a 65, theoretically, okay? How many points did JK get in the floor show more than Evah? And the answer is at least 10 in my book, because Evah didn't do the damn fucking assignment. That's just the way it is. She did not do the damn assignment. But you know what? All I'm going to say is this. If I had a nickel for every time I've disagreed with the judging on a reality show, I'd have a lot of nickels. Okay, so
be a rich man.
I'm not too mad. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Okay.
Personally, unlike the Boulets, I actually love double wins. But in this scenario, we probably would collectively agree with Cynthia would have won the floor show, and it would be so cool because it would be her first win ever. So I wouldn't be mad either with a double win.
I wouldn't have been mad at Cynthia winning. I think Cynthia winning would have been really entertaining considering what comes next. So let's talk about it. So we get told that there's a twist this week where Evah is given the power of the sonic. I don't remember what random word they used there.
Sonic transducer.
Transducer. It was a word from the Rocky Horror as well. Yeah, transducer was that.
It's what Riff Raff and Magenta have to shoot and kill Frankenfurter at the end of the movie. They call it the Sonic transducer.
For a 50-year-old movie, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I spoiled an ancient movie.
Yeah. But Eva's given the power of the Sonic transducer, and she gets to eliminate someone on the spot. Not put them in the bottom. Not put them up for extermination. No, they're just out.
Okay, time for Michael rant.
Yes, go ahead.
One second.
What the hell?
Give me 1 second, Mike. I can get you a banner.
No. Bring it me. I need to have a strong opinion. Y'all already got yours out of the way.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay. What the hell, production? This is the dumbest thing I think they could have ever done. I think this is way too much power to give to one person. And I'm a big gamer. I love Big Brother. I love Survivor. I love all those sort of reality competition shows. I would say almost never. I think I can only think of one time in 27 seasons of Big Brother where they had this amount of power to one person, where they could just point somebody and then be like, you're out.
Dan Giesling?
No. Yeah, technically it's that, but I was thinking of season 9 where the power couple could just eliminate another couple. Yeah, okay. So stupid.
Dan Giesling in 14 with the Jody of it all. But even then they had to lose a competition. Justice for Jody.
They had some they had some agency in 14 at the very least. My issue is this is just way too much power to have them, especially in a competition where it's a pageant. It's not based on sort of gaming or anything like that. I think also this could have gone so wrong. I do enjoy I enjoy that the Boulets are willing to just go for it and just say, like, fuck it. We're just going to do it. We don't care. We're just going to see what happens. Just let's go crazy with it. But if I were the producer on the show, I would have strongly advised them against this. I'd be like, I do not think this is a good idea at all. If you're going to do this, maybe do a double win, or maybe have like a top 3, and the top 3 is the council that has to decide on one person. At the very least, at that point, you get like a group sort of consensus. It's not just one person being like, Evah, since the beginning, has been like, I'm going to get Sigourney out at some point because I want to be the big dog left in the competition. And that's exactly, I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, y'all already know where this is going. We'll get to it, but like, it's dumb. It's really, really dumb. I thought this was so bad. I also, honestly, going into the Cauldron, I thought it was going to be JK, because Evah has been like after JK for a couple episodes now, and kind of like JK's talking a big game here. But we'll get into it. Rant over.
Yeah. I would like to double up on this rant regarding the outcome of this twist. It could have been worse, but when we're talking about literally saying you were debatably the best in this challenge, and therefore you are now deciding who goes home in week 7 of this competition, right? When all of these people have done well throughout the competition. Nobody bombed in this challenge. I just think this was just shock value for no reason. And we talked about it a little bit during the first season of Titans, where the first round of voting, where it was like, you all get to decide who's in the bottom 2, and then we decide who goes home. Like, that felt like shock value for no reason. And of course, we've gotten more used to it on Dragula over the years with the curses and, like, all of the other mess, right? But we haven't seen something like this that I would consider to be truly game-breaking on Dragula before. I just think this is they are treading very close on a very thin line before they go over the edge of how far this can go. Because imagine, if you will, if we had a UK versus the One World 1 style of eliminations of Jimbo lost a challenge after she won the first 2. Oh, we're taking out Jimbo. Pangina lost a challenge after she won 2 of the first 3. Oh, we're taking out Pangina. Janie lost a challenge after she won 1 and no one else has really done well throughout the competition. We're taking out Janie. And suddenly at the end of the competition, it's either people who haven't really won anything or people who won like 1 or 2 things when all of the front runners are suddenly out.
Mm-hmm.
And with a cast like this, very well could happen. So don't make this a habit. It worked the one time, and it was not the worst thing I've ever seen. Or if you're going to do it, just tell them at the beginning of the season so that way they can adjust accordingly.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to preempt any comments that come up and be like, oh, well, the lipstick, twists and everything. The queens are told at the beginning of the season, this is the format of the season. You're going to choose each other. None of these monsters, none of these contestants had any idea this was coming. So they're operating and they're putting all this drama out there. I think it actually hurts the drama that they're willing to bring into the Cauldron and go after each other, because now you just put out into the universe that, hey, somebody just might randomly just get the power to, and you just fought with them last week. You should not have made good TV for us. Now you're gone because they have the power to take you out. I think it's a really, really bad idea. Like I said, if I was the producer on the show, I'm like, it's fine for this short term, like 1 episode you generate. We're talking about it. We're having a long episode here talking about it. But like after that, long term, I don't know. I think some people might be like, don't make like I said, Brooke, like you said it best, Brooke, don't make a habit of this, because like if this is something that you're constantly putting out into the world here, then it's gonna be all pageant and nice people in the Cauldron, and it's gonna rob the show of a lot of its character, because I feel like people are really real in the Cauldron, unlike Untucked, which is a lot of pageant answers all around for, I would say, 90% of Drag Race Untucked episodes. Cauldron is like, I feel, is raw. People really come with their actual opinions and they just speak them. I feel like if you're going to have one person picking someone just and be like, oh, you're out, like people aren't going to say their honest feelings in the Cauldron going forward. That's what I worry for. I legit worry for that. So
I love this twist. For one time. Sorry.
Surprise.
Micha, let me ask you a question real quick. If this twist would have not been in Evah's hands, right? Do you think you would feel the same way?
Absolutely,
I'm genuinely curious.
I actually told you just before I started the recording that of all the top 3 in our like collective mind, I would be fine perfectly with either Jaharia or JK or Evah having this power for one episode. I agree with you, Mike, that it shouldn't like bear repeating. But for a one-time twist and how it played out this episode, this was actually perfect TV. Because first of all, like the ghouls don't get adapted to this twist because they know it's coming like once in a while. Like say when Jade put whom did she put? Betty, yeah.
She
Betty
put
for Extermination. Yeah, it was one-time thing. In Titans 1, it didn't really work because, although also one episode, Victoria got the power to choose the bottom 2, but it was kind of because of the circumstances. But here it played out perfectly well. And actually, I would kind of disagree that although Evah was gunning for Sigourney early in the season, I think that Evah, of all people, was kind of more open to listen to other opportunities. And you said yourself, Mike, that she could have theoretically put JK, but we'll get to it. The way I loved how it played out, because Sig basically buried herself. And she would have buried herself with anybody in the top getting this power, be it JK or Jaharia or Evah. So in this regard, I thought for one episode only, it worked perfectly well. And it gave us some great TV. And ghouls will not be afraid to like speak their minds out because of that. Because first of all, it's never going to be like brought, I think, for all season long. Secondly, it wasn't done as sloppily as the jury twist in All Stars 3.
Oh my
God forbid.
God.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Yeah, and so we still have time till the finals, so to do something else. And thirdly, even after getting the curse, the very sad bitter Betty wasn't like didn't stop being messy and became an angel for the rest of the episode. She was exterminated. No, not at all. She continued being the drama. So I just think that Dragula is altogether different beast, and for one time only, it didn't hurt anything. And especially given this Cauldron and given how Sigourney brought her own demise, it was just gold.
Yeah, so I do want to go ahead and quickly say, though, for me, watching this, and even with the outcome, I wasn't mad at the outcome by the end of it, because as much as I am the CEO of the Sigourney Beaver fan club, just being real, I love her to death. She's my girl. The outcome made sense based on the edit we were seeing in the show. But I would also like to go ahead and remind the people at home, right? Us Big Brother fans have went through a rather traumatic event this year when it comes to a random bullshit elimination that quite literally traumatized the hell out of the Big Brother community. Rachel, we love you. So
I'm hyperventilating. Like, why did you bring that into my mind?
The reason I brought it up,
finally compartmentalized the White Locust twist.
Yeah. The reason I bring it up, though, is we're okay with it here in the same way that I feel like had Kelly went home in the White Locust twist, it would have been a don't do it again, but okay. Like, in this situation,
I agree.
If, let's say, JK won this and decided, oh, I'm taking out Evah, bye, right? Or, like, if Cynthia got her way and Abhora went home, or JK went home, or quite literally anyone other than Cynthia or Sigourney went home, I don't think the reaction would be as positive as what we are seeing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm okay with the outcome. I think I'm okay with the outcome, but I'm going to say, like, the damage done is not as bad because I feel like we're about to talk to it. We keep saying this. I promise we're about to talk about it. The damage done is not as bad because I feel like Sigourney did bring this upon herself. And, like, it's an edited product. We'll talk about it right now. But, like, I feel like I still blame the twist because I feel like things worked out despite the twist. Like things still feel okay despite this twist being in the existence. I feel like it's just Sigourney freaked out, and then that's why Evah chose her. And otherwise, it would be like, this is really sucks for whoever got picked if Sigourney didn't act the way they did. We'd be like, that really sucks that person puts all their effort in. Even if it's Sigourney, if Sigourney doesn't act the way she did, if she's the one that's picked, it's like she put all this effort in, and it sucks that she gets taken out at the final 6 in this part. So I say, like, despite what happens, I'm fine with the outcome, but despite that, I hate this twist. So
I hated your hair and makeup today. So regardless, Sigourney is, we go into the Cauldron and everybody's pitching to Evah, and some people get real and get vulnerable. And, JK talked about how much this is meant to be able to show the growth from season 5 and get to show what they've done and what they've accomplished. JK crying on camera, not something I expected to see on Dragula, honestly, ever. We get a similar moment from basically everyone. Abhora doesn't cry, but Abhora is like very clear and says, after what happened on Titans 1, I needed this opportunity. And everybody kind of gets there, and they're talking about how much this opportunity has meant to them. And then we get to Sigourney. Everyone is being emotionally manipulative with this conversation, so I want to be clear. They are all doing the same thing in terms of they are all trying to manipulate Evah's emotions, and more, I'll say, appeal to her emotions to keep themselves safe. That's probably a better way to put it instead of manipulate.
It's the tact.
Yes, of course there's tact here, but it's more of, if we're talking about like the traditional Greek appeals, right? They're all loading up with some pathos here. Like they all know what they're doing.
Of course.
And then Sigourney, on her turn, doesn't do any of that. Doesn't take the opportunity to talk about this opportunity for herself and what it means for her. And she she essentially threatens Evah and basically says, we've built a friend. We've been at odds before, but we've built a friendship. I just would hate to see that end this way, and I would take it personally. Essentially, it's how it starts. And I think this is where JK sensed an opening and poked the bear. Just one time, just a little nudge of like, what do you mean by that? And then everything falls apart for Sigourney right in front of our eyes. We get line after line of Sigourney explaining everything and what she's trying to say, but everyone's a little bit irritated with it, and Evah's looking a little offended. And
I think Evah also early in her explanation gives her an off-ramp, and it's just kind of like hey, this is coming off as like kind of emotionally manipulative, and is kind of harkening back to the Dahlia situation earlier in the season. I think Evah was giving Sigourney an off-ramp to kind of, hey, change your line of like argumentation here. My mind is open to eliminating anybody here. Like, just change your line of argument. And no.
Change your costume, Mimi.
Maybe change it around.
Oh. Come on, teleport us to Mars.
Exactly. No Teletubbies were teleported, unfortunately. Yeah, and Evah just keeps...
I'm acting.
Oh my gosh. That's the clip we have from that. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's what Sig should have been doing. Yes.
Yeah. There was also a very important moment where Sigourney talked about not being able to perform because of her body. And that felt very tone deaf for her to say that to Jaharia and JK.
On this topic, I think Sigourney has endured a lot of misogyny in gay spaces. let's call it what it is. In season 4, she encountered a ton of misogyny directly in her face. And I think that's something that needs to be pointed out and called out. I think the community also rightfully called it out in the time. I was very happy because I do think in a lot of gay spaces, specifically men loving men spaces, there is a lot of kind of female hatred that it goes unchecked. There's a lot of misogyny that goes unchecked. And that's important to call out. However, I did not like how she was basically saying, like, I go through a struggle that none of y'all go through. I do agree. That was very, very tone deaf. And I think Jaharia clocks it in the moment. I'm glad that she clocks it in the moment. And it's just kind of like, we all have struggles here. I'm not the one talking about like our struggles with, you know, being a Black alternative drag artist. And I don't want to take it there. And I kind of appreciate that she said that, because I think when you talk about your own trials and your own persecution, and you're trying to like put down somebody else's experience of being persecuted in a different way, all you're doing is you're just helping the people who are at the top, who are like in charge, and you're just fighting each other. And I don't think that's not the oppression
Olympics. And like,
exactly.
Yeah. And like, and as someone, and I'm going to say this very clearly, and this is coming strictly from my educational background, right? In case people don't know, I'm currently getting my PhD in sociology. So when we're talking about, you know, thank you very much. We're talking about, you know, people dealing with the trials that they've had to go through their own experiences in life. The Oppression Olympics is actually like a fully thought after research term, and it's something that we see a lot from different groups. It's the same reason that politically that both sides of the aisle in the US are so diametrically opposed, because they think that the people that are keeping them down are the other side of the aisle. That's why a lot of those problems exist, because people are so in competition with each other that they can't reconcile the things that they have in common, which is life sucks and we can do things to improve it, right? So it can lead to a lot of problems, and I'm happy it did not go there. But maybe think about it a little bit before you say it. That's all I got to say. When we're talking about this entire situation, I will say Cynthia in the corner just kind of minding her business. And then when it's very clearly that the gun is aimed at Sigourney's head, she goes, or you could take out somebody who's a big threat. I don't know, because Cynthia wants it to be Abhora.
Yeah, and JK and Jaharia start laughing instantly. Yeah, it's just like so much fun. She brings comic relief exactly when it was needed.
I also love JK said, like, only one of us has been to a finale. And then Cynthia goes, who was that?
Yeah, but I mean, it's really cool that only Sigourney, and now, spoil, after she has been exterminated, we have top 5, like people in the semifinals who have never been in the finale, and that's so exciting. But yeah, I think, jumping on that, Jaharia not only clocked Cynthia, but done it so gracefully. Oh, sorry, Cynthia, clocked Sigourney, but done it so gracefully and like politely that basically she was offering the second exit slope for Sig, but no, Sig still continued to bury herself.
I just want to say this, okay? We cannot possibly tell you every single thing that Sigourney said and did in this Cauldron to bury her game. All I'm going to say is this: if you have a Shudder subscription, just go watch that little clip of the Cauldron if you haven't already. And if you have already watched it, you already know exactly what we mean. There was a lot here that really put Evah in the position where she kind of just had to make a decision. And we get on stage, we get a nice little strobe light show.
I will say, so Sigourney had a confessional. So she said, I think it's going to be Cynthia. Really?
And I love Cynthia on stages. I want it to be Abhora. She has 2 wins. Get her out.
There's the door.
There's the door. I think she just needs to get pushed off a bridge.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this is such a nice callback to episode 1 when they both jumped off a bridge.
Off the bridge. Yeah. But yeah, as we've said multiple times, Sigourney Beaver gets vaporized here.
She gets sonically transduced.
Yeah. So Sigourney is eliminated. And I will say we get a little bit of a clip before we go to the Hellbound Showdown of Sigourney backstage saying, I'm so pissed. I can't believe this. I'm coming for your ass, Evah. And I don't mean to say my fans are going to do this, but she's in for a world of hurt. Yeah. I'll be 100% honest with you. I know a lot of people online have been seeing this as like Sigourney's feelings in the moment and her ranting and her doing all of these other things. I legitimately think in this moment, her saying, you're in for a world of hurt from her fans. Yes, she's correct. We've seen the Sigourney fans this season and on season 4. They do whatever they want a lot of the time. Some of these rabid people on Twitter, to the point where Sigourney has already made a post on Instagram telling people to not say shit to anyone. Mm-hmm. Let's be clear here, okay? Do I think a lot of this might have been emotional and feelings in the moment? Yes. Did she immediately shut it down in the fastest way she possibly could? Yes, she did. So
she did not pull a Valentina.
Yeah, she did not spill lipstick in her Valentina white bag. Okay, like she's doing fine. And she did post something on her Instagram about it. I have not personally seen anything thrown at Evah yet, but I also have not been on Twitter. So in reality, I don't know. Reddit seems to be chill. Reddit seems to be fine right now, but Twitter, no idea.
It also, I will point out, Sigourney at the beginning of the season, she has a show called The Obituary, where she brings on other drag artists to talk about the show. Yeah, I was going to watch, she was going to cover Titans 2, but she pretty quickly, and I'm pretty sure by either Shudder or Boulet Brothers, that got shut down. She didn't comment on it. She just started covering season 4. I think it was. I think that's what she's covering.
No, she's now. No, she's now. The thing is, she's now basically asking all the people she's inviting to her show what is their favorite episode from past Dragula seasons before Titans 2, and now they're covering random episodes from random like periods of time. So they had like season 2 opening episode with Hosso. They had Metamorphosis last week with Sig's first win on season 4. So it was episode 5. So yeah, they're basically jumping all over the timeline, just not Titans 2.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if maybe these comments that Sigourney had backstage is kind of like they're enforcing the NDA. Everybody signs an NDA. They're enforcing it at this moment and being like, you know, if Sigourney had not have said these things, maybe they would let her cover Titans 2. But since she said these things, and she does have a very big fan base that is very passionate about Sigourney, I'll say it in very pageant terms. They're like, we just don't want to deal with this situation because the internet can be really ruthless at times. I will say, yeah, if Sigourney did, I didn't see that post on Instagram, but if Sigourney did put a post out there being like, hey, no hate, you're not part of my fan base if you are putting out hate, good for her. Like, that's responsible platforming.
She did this morning. Yeah, she did this morning. She wrote this like lengthy. Yeah.
I want direct quote. A quick note to everyone supporting me. What you saw on screen is a tiny slice of a complicated experience. No cast member deserves to be bullied or targeted. Please don't use me, my edit, or anything I said as a reason to attack someone. I know the show showed a lot of conflict, and it's fair to interpret some of what I said that the way it came across. But I want to be clear. I don't want anyone sending hate to anybody. Disagree, debate, have your opinions, but don't harass people. We're all real humans behind the episode.
I think that's a really mature way to respond to what was, I'm going to be honest, a very unflattering edit for Sigourney Beaver. I think that she's being very amicable about this, and I think taking it well. If that's her like immediate response is to make sure that her castmates are okay and are not being targeted by her fan base. So I do appreciate that.
I'm even more impressed that the fan base itself didn't have a heel turn on her, like, you know, gem contrast between the original season and the All Stars. So yeah, interesting. But I mean, good for her.
Well, y'all, we're going to quickly go through the Hellbound Showdown because, quite frankly, not much to talk about this week, honestly.
Yes. It was fun. It was just fun. Chaos.
Yeah, so, Priscilla, I'm just going to be blunt. I've seen it. This kind of look before on Dragula and on Drag Race too. It's never been my favorite kind of presentation, like the super over-exaggerated features. And I will say this. I think she looks great. I very clearly get what she's going for, but like, she also had a prop malfunction, and that's unfortunate. I'm going to put this as PG-13 as possible. She had a hose through her groin that did not do its job as well as it should have. That's about as PG-13 as I could possibly make it. For the X version, her strap-on didn't shoot.
Yes.
So
when Black Eyed Peas sang "Pump It," they clearly were not talking about Priscilla's device.
Damn. Yeah, for me, bag. Sorry, Priscilla, I love you.
For me, it's still a soft T, actually. I know this kind of both remote and is on the verge of like being too far away from Rocky Horror, but still kind of within the reality. It was just funny that both of the exterminated ghouls decided to go half Sex in Space, run half Frankenhooker from season 6, and yeah, with a sprinkle of Rocky Horror. But still, it's soft T for me, despite the malfunction, despite, yeah, I agree with you, Brook. This is not my favorite type of looks, but I think it kind of works for the sheer camp of it all.
This is piping hot tea for me. I love this look. I love the commentary on it. I mean, I got a lot of Rocky Horror from it, but if Rocky Horror was trans, but also it's kind of the Frankenfurter makeup and the pearls, and this kind of stitched together look. This kind of, it gave me kind of a commentary of, the trans experience of, you are going through a lot of some trans people go through medical procedures to feel more comfortable in their own bodies. And I liked that commentary that Priscilla brought to this. And in that regard, I loved the perspective that Priscilla brought. I love that Priscilla was so open about their trans experience and being very vulnerable on this show. And I think this was part of it for me. That's why it's piping hot tea for me. I really love this look from Priscilla.
Blackberri. It looks fine. I like the gun. The prop worked, so that was nice. This doesn't feel like Blackberri. And I'm starting to get sad about it. I love Blackberri. I don't know what the package idea was this time around for some of these looks that Blackberri's brought, because some of them have just been like incredible, super high execution, and even the turkey look when it fell apart, I still thought it was disgusting and she should have won the challenge. I just don't feel the same way about other aspects of her package, and this is one of those looks that I'm like, it's good, but it's not like blowing me away or anything. So I'll give it T with the note that it's executed well, but I don't know.
I would give it actually a tepid T. Then for Priscilla, I think Priscilla is warm tea. This one is, the tea is kind of cold. I agree with you, Brook. It's kind of not to the kind of the Blackberri themselves brought, especially in the Sex Doll Challenge on the original season. And yeah, it does fit the theme. The prop worked well. But yeah, I don't know. We've seen Blackberri doing this kind of like Cheshire Cat gone totally mad, crazy face a lot this season in different aspects, and yeah, it just feels kind of very, very, very safe.
I'm gonna give this a tepid T as well. It's pretty cold. It's almost a bag for me. I think mainly because I mean, if you were to show me this, I don't know if I necessarily would get to Rocky Horror it is definitely a character from Rocky Horror. It's Magenta or Riff Raff, whichever one you want to pick. And it's the outfits that they're wearing to arrest Frankenfurter at the end. They're showing that they're aliens coming to arrest Frankenfurter. And I get that. And that's it. The titular sonic transducer is in Blackberry's hand here. And it worked. But other than that, I just feel like the look isn't really elevated. It's just kind of simply is what it is. I think she looks good in it. I do like that. I do like the shoulders on the coat as well. That's really, really nice. But it's just going to be a tepid T for me just because Blackberry has shown some amazing looks this season. And this just isn't up to this very, very high standard that Blackberry usually brings. So I agree with you, Brooke. I'm a little confused on as far as like the look here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to be like anything more negative than what I've already said, but yeah, I wasn't particularly wowed by this week's Hellbound Showdown, and I will say this kind of felt like and this is why I'm a little bit more inclined to agree with Micha in regard to the judging than I was before the episode ended, because by the end of this, I was like, I wonder why they had this floor show if it didn't seem to matter, right? Because it based on the judging outcome of this episode, the floor show didn't really seem to matter that much. I literally think the only reason they had a floor show in this episode is so that way the Hellbound Showdown people could have a challenge to do. And that's just my opinion. They can't really throw them in the Bousical. It doesn't work that way. But it is what it is. But yeah, so who did you all think was going to win this based on what we got today?
I think the Boulets put way too much pressure on prop malfunctions. There still was a bit of juice coming from the prop, so it was enough for me to be like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, like it's functional. Like at the very least, like I got what you were doing with it. I thought it was just like a strap on. I thought it was just a simple strap on. So I was like, oh, there's more to it. And so that was fine for me. I love the look of Priscilla brought more than Blackberry. So for me, Priscilla won the Hellbound Showdown in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I almost kind of agree with you, Mike. I actually think just Blackberry probably edged the win by, first of all, the prop functioned well, and so she had the juicing inside her mouth, and that probably would overall like sway the Boulets to say, okay, yes, this prop functioned well. But the performance itself was kind of stiff, stale, and also reminded me of kind of a couple of things that Blackberry already did during her runways on the season, and I was kind of more living for Priscilla's performance, despite the prop malfunction. Yeah, she threw herself on the floor. Yeah, it was chaotic and messy as hell. But this is Priscilla, and she was going for it. So, and also Rocky Horror is very messy at times. So, if it wasn't a prop malfunction, I would definitely say Priscilla won for me. Given that, and given how Blackberry literally milked the milk inside her mouth, I see where they're coming from, but they were like neck and neck.
Well, yeah, I didn't really care for either of them, to be honest with you. I would have given the win to Blackberry solely based on the fact that I think both of them did like below their average standard of work this week. I think Blackberry's just done better, but like I just didn't really care for either of their performances this week. I'm not going to cap. We do unfortunately lose Priscilla here. Sure, I feel bad about it because I really do like Priscilla, but let's be honest. We all knew that Priscilla was not going to be the person to come back because they didn't feature her very much throughout the first part of the season out after the first episode. Which is unfortunate because Priscilla was lovely to have on the season. It was lovely having a gal. So with this, we have officially lost another girl from season 3. We're down to just Evah, and we'll see where we go from here. But before we leave, it's time for a draft update. Mike is so thrilled.
Do we have to?
I think we do, yeah.
Well,
Hey, I'm holding on to a hope.
you are holding on to two hopes currently. Two hopes.
Soon to be one after next week.
Soon to be one, yeah.
We shall see.
Let's start with the bottom end of our scoreboard, currently sitting at 46.5 points, and no actual competitors left in the actual competition, is Mike. I can say this. We do know that
Thank you. I have great taste.
Mike, your score will at least be 47.5 points next week because you are guaranteed to win the Hellbound Showdown. So there's that. Third place is Logan with 52 points. Logan is holding on to a Cynthia Doll and a Dream.
Of your first win, maybe.
Gonna happen, right? Micha is in second with 72.5 points. Micha still has Evah, which you're looking right there.
And Jaharia.
I'm getting there. And Jaharia. So we'll see where that turns out. I am currently winning at the moment. Fingers crossed. I have 79 points. I have Abhora and Jay and Jaharia. So I'm feeling great. Hey, Mike, if you want to join Team Brook and pick somebody to help on my team, we will gladly take you.
What do you mean by that? Take
you
from
could,
you, or
you could just
you don't want my influence?
You can just hop aboard. Hop aboard the train. As we choo our way towards another draft win this year to end this off. Team Brook has had a very stellar year when it comes to drafts. I finally won a Big Brother draft, thank God. So, we're
You manifested that.
I really did.
You were Ashley Hollis's biggest fan for the last 3 weeks. So
she was my first pick from that cast. I picked her as the number one pick from our entire draft board was Ashley Hollis. So if that tells you anything.
And it didn't even seem like she had a chance to win until 3 days before the finale.
But she did. She won.
But not the point. I love, but we love Ashley.
The only good thing that has happened. No, I'm kidding. I've actually had a pretty successful year, all things considered. Parvati won Us versus the World. Miles won Australia. So I've done pretty well this year. We'll see what happens as we round this year off, and if Micha will be able to get that sneak win from Evah and make me lose, or if Jaharia wins. And also, to be clear, this is a points-based draft, so even if Evah wins, there's a possibility that I will have more points than Micha at the end anyway. So we'll see how this turns out.
We'll see who's in the top 4, in the finale.
Yes.
So,
at this point, I think it's really who's going to be in the top. The top 5 is cemented, and we're going to see who goes home next week as we head into our last 3 episodes of the season. So keep your eyes open for next week where we talk about whatever's going on. Will Cynthia get her win? That's what I'm keeping my eyes on. Will Cynthia get a win?
Finally, for the first time in Dragula's history. Yeah.
Truly. But until then, everybody, stay tuned next week. See who's going to go home between Blackberri and Sigourney Beaver in the Hellbound Showdown, which is an absurd sentence. And we'll see which of our 5 non-finalists will make it to the semifinals the week after. But before you all head out, make sure to like, share, and subscribe before you get out of here. Check out all of our links down below, including the link to our audio podcast, as well as the link to where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup mug at logiccreations.etsy.com, also in that QR code in the corner. And of course, importantly, the Patreon has something new dropping tomorrow. Tomorrow. That 2 of the 3 people in this on this panel were a part of the thing that's dropping tomorrow. Ooh. So keep your eyes out for that. And of course, all of our content, because the Patreon it's kicked into high gear, y'all. We got a lot coming to Patreon this week. I think 4 uploads happening on Patreon. Some of them are early releases. Some of them are Patreon exclusives. So if you want to check them out, you only can do it by clicking
great
the
episode.
Patreon link. Mm-hmm.
The one tomorrow is a good one. That was a good one.
The one tomorrow is a very exciting project, and you'll see it when we get to it. But until then, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and stop watching this video and go watch another video. Cheers, everybody. Bye. Bye.